About 4 years ago, I did my first challenge run for the Dark Souls games. Dark Souls 3 with only a torch. And I don't remember a whole lot about it because it was 3 years ago and my memory is terrible, but I've put about 3,000 hours into the Souls game since, and I wanted to try it again to see how I improved. So, let's see if I can come up with any new strategies or anything that might make it easier, or will I just do way worse because that's just kind of how things happen. I name myself after one of the greatest musicians of all time and start as the Deprived. Since the torch can only be obtained after Gundyr, I'll just have to kill Gundyr at the club and make sure not to kill any enemies. That way I still, go by the rules of the challenge, but I don't have to cheat it in case anyone else wants to try this. I run past everything and make sure to pick up the Ashen Flask and the first Titanite Shard. Gundyr is Gundyr, so I kill him with first try. Totally, first try. Once in Firelink, I make sure to grab the torch to finally start the challenge. There's a lot to collect in the high wall, so let's not waste time. I rush to the second bonfire and pick up another Titanite shard. Then, on the roof, I kill the first Pus of Man for the next shard. Fire damage works extremely well on the Pus of Man, so even with the subpar damage, it works wonders. Downstairs in the room with the Lothric Knight, there's another shard, and one in the room with the Estus Flask shard. One small plus about the torch is the fire damage stuns these bitch-ass teleporting dogs, so you don't have to worry about them that much. After opening the shortcut door and heading back to the first bonfire, I kill the other Pus of Man for yet another shard, and I head back to Firelink to upgrade the torch to a +2, and do the tree jump to get another Estus shard, and trade a firebomb to get the first large shard. After selling my trinkets and baubles and leveling up, I go back to the high wall to fight for it. At a +2, the damage isn't the best, but it's extremely possible. This is what a +2 battle axe would be doing. One thing that I noticed about this run is that you should only use heavy attacks with the torch. The other ones are so slow and weak, it makes using them pointless. The R2 is a thrusting attack that can be charged as well. And other than the damage, the Vort fight went practically the same way as any other Vort fight, despite it taking longer. Just stick to his ass and roll through his charging attacks. After Vor, I head back to Firelink to level up and get more vigor. Leveling up strength or dexterity isn't really that worth it because this torch just does not scale. Same with the high wall, we go on another collecting spree, picking up another Estus shard, 3 Titanite shards, an Undead Bone shard. God, there's a lot of shards. I skip past the Curse Wadded Greatwood for now and continue on to the next bonfire and pick up another Titanite shard along the way. For whatever reason, I skip past the bonfire and don't even light it, and I miss the jump and plummet to my death. I then proceed to die many more times trying to make this stupid fucking skip, which I'm not even sure works now. After the 8,143rd time, I learned my lesson and light the bonfire. Before going to the row of sacrifices, I jump down to the pit and collect the last 2 Titanite shards. There's nothing to get in the row of sacrifices, so I just blitz through the area, trying to get to the Farron Swamp. Once there, I pick up the Grass Crest shield and some new swag armor, and after baiting the lovers on the staircase to take a trip to the lower swamp, I go back to Firelink to level up before the Sage. Now, back when I did this challenge 3-ish years ago, Sage was a huge roadblock. I remember I even summoned someone online to kill my Sage, which, just invalidates the entire run. But this time, I think I was prepared for her. A +3 torch with an upgraded Estus, and the newfound strategy just to only use R2s. I think I was ready. And I was correct. The R2 does 150 damage, which is good all things considered, and the strategy is just to rush the Sage and do as many heavy attacks as possible before she teleports. When the clones come out in Phase 2, I make sure to focus on them, or you'll be put into the ground. I ran out of Estus, and I fumbled the fight right at the end, but victory is within my grasp. So, I go and grab another additional Estus shard to try and get a leg up on her. The second attempt goes poorly as I get wombo comboed by her and a clone. However, the third time was the charm, and I try to overcome my old obstacle, and I got a win. After Sage, before going to the actual main part of the Cathedral, I rush to talk to Gale to go into the painting. I'm only here to get some upgrade materials and to get the main weapon for this run, the Follower's Torch. By killing this crystal lizard, you can get the next large shard. And in the Snow Village, you can perform a little swag jump to get to the ladder just a bit quicker. Now, this edgy black flame fuck took so long to kill. Now, with a shield, you would do a push to shove him back and, get him to fall off the cliff, but with a torch, I can't do that. I have to just poke him, and he goes back a little bit. And it takes so long. You need so many consecutive hits on him, which is easier said than done. The next attempt he falls, but not all the way, so it's impossible for him to fall now. And the third attempt took 10 minutes, and I didn't even push him off the cliff. He just got stuck, so I beat him to death with a stick. With the key in hand, I go upstairs and open the most useless shortcut door, and after going up the path, I grab the Follower's Torch, a direct upgrade to the Normal's Torch. There's 2 large shards, and another 2 right after the Millwood Knight Archer. In the Blood Room, I fall down to quickly open the door to Freed. Another bonus to the torch is that if you ever get maggots on you, the torch will instantly remove them, protecting you from another form of blood loss. Next, I go back to the Farron Swamp as I need another 12 shards to get to a +3. Grabbing 2 right outside the bonfire along with another Estus shard. While I'm here, I go ahead and extinguish the first of 3 flames, and right after is yet another shard. I go up to the Old Wolf of Farron bonfire to get the ashes to buy the last of the small shards, and kill the 2 crystal lizards for another 2 shards. The weapon art is actually pretty good for low-to-the-ground enemies like the crystal lizard and just groups of enemies in general. And while I'm here, I kill the Stray Demon for some easy souls to use for upgrading. Before grabbing the last 4 large shards, I go back to Andre to upgrade the Follower's Torch to a +5, and I head back to the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, as the Champion Wolf has the last 3 of 4 shards I need. The wolf is such bullshit, and I hate fighting it, but luckily you only needed to deal half its health for the shards. Right after the wolf, we can grab the last shard lying on the ground, and that's a +6 before Abyss Watchers. Once the 2 flames are extinguished, I go grab another Undead Bone Shard and fight this world's variant of K-pop stands. The damage was pretty good, and since they're humanoid enemies, they stagger, which makes attacking them easier. I mainly wait for the Strawberry to wake up and let him draw aggro so I can get some sneak attacks in, despite me sucking complete ass against the Abyss Watchers' second phase and nearly dying. It's the same as the first phase, and we get an easy victory. Time to fight the Dancer. Yeah, I'm fighting the Dancer real early on this one. I want access to Lothric Castle this early for some very fast and easy chunks. Once I beat the lady to death, the Dancer comes down from the ceiling. The Dancer fight is pretty normal. I just stick to her ass and thrust. That doesn't sound right. I get punished for that joke, and the second attempt goes much smoother. Before grabbing the chunks though, I decided to get another boost in damage, which is the Fire Clutch Ring. It only gave me about 20 extra damage, but hey, damage is damage. If the number goes up, it makes the serotonin go up. In Osiris' Garden, we can pick up another Estus Shard and 4 chunks. Heading up to the main path is another 4, and 3 more by the Pus of Man. After getting the last chunk by trading a Black Firebomb with Pickle P, I can upgrade the torch to a +9. The slab being the last component, and we can get one by acting in a little bit of deforestation and doing a Snake Eater bit. With a +10, why not test it on a boss that damage doesn't really matter on? Vaylorn Holnir. He should be extremely easy, right? I mean, who dies to Wolnir in his strawberry flavored air? Right? Second attempt goes much smoother, and he dies at the age of 30 due to lung cancer. The Cathedral can be mostly skipped except for grabbing another Estus Shard and a Shard of Undead Bone. We can also grab Lloyd's Sword Ring for a little bit extra damage boost while at full health. With most of the stuff in the run already acquired, we can pretty much just run past everything now. I grab another Human Remain Shard and the other bonfire for Yhorm. After dying to the dogs on the elevator, I can go take on Pontiff, and despite me being only decent at fighting Pontiff, the fight is pretty normal otherwise. Just keep sticking to the R2s only, and you'll have a victory in no time. Aldrich was next, and it was pretty easy. I got super lucky, actually, with him not using the homing arrow rain, so I was able to stay in melee range the entire fight. The only thing to grab here was another Estus Shard, and after failing the skip, I decided to not have a repeat of last time, so in the end, I did learn my lesson. On the way to the capital, I get this kill on a couple of rats. How neat. Now, dear viewers, I technically failed this challenge already at Gundyr. So, if you think I failed the challenge, then you're not going to like what I did next. I kill Yhorm with the Storm Ruler. I try to do Yhorm with just the torch, but it's so weak, and I value my time, so if you think I lost the challenge, please leave a comment on how pathetic I am. It helps. I want engagement. For those of you who understand, thank you for sticking around, and with the Storm Ruler, it goes how you expected it would. After Yhorm, we go to fight Dancer. Wait, this feels familiar. Lothric Castle was next, for real this time, and I employ the same strat of running past everything. The Dragon Slayer armor was easier than I thought, and it was actually so fast that I only had to deal with one attack from the Pilgrim Butterflies. I even stance broke him out of his face transition, which I had never done before. The archives were as boring as ever. Even on a normal playthrough, I just run through this area. It's so boring. Now, the Twin Princes are one of my favorite fights in this game, and even in the whole series. And even with the torch, that holds true. However, with this fight, you really have to take a more patient stance, because Lorien punishes greed. You're only able to get 1 or maybe 2 hits on him before he hits you. And that gets worse with Lothric, as you have to now dodge projectiles along with Lorien's melee. But, by playing it safe, and targeting Lothric when you can, it goes well. Before the Soul of Cinder, there's a couple things we need to finish up. First, I headed to the Dreg Heap to pick up the Fap Ring +3, and now, it's time of a montage of all the optional bosses I skipped. Well, it was a fun journey for sure, but it's time to fight the Torch God himself. Flame v. Flame. It's a pretty standard fight, except for me getting my ass kicked, and I swear that doesn't happen normally. But after killing Gwyn's heir to the throne, we link the first flame and conclude that you can beat Dark Souls 3 with only a torch. Thank you to everyone who made it this far. I got this video out a lot faster than I thought I would. By the time I'm recording this outro, it is the 25th, and it should be out on the 26th. And if not, then I severely fucked up, but it should be. I'm actually really happy with this one. I learned a little bit more things for editing. This was kind of a video for me to kind of just test different editing things out, like adding text on screen, putting music in, like you saw. And I'm really proud of it, even though it is definitely rough around the edges. And I think I got the audio even a little bit better. I knew some of my friends who watched the previous one, the Flip Attack Only one, said that it was a little quiet. So hopefully this one will be a little louder, but not too loud. So as stuff will go on, obviously things are going to get tweaked. But I'm really happy with this one. And if you want to try this challenge out, I highly recommend it. It is not as hard as I remembered it being, obviously, because I've put 1,000 hours into each game since then. So I've gotten a lot better, but it's honestly not that bad of a challenge. I remember when I first did it, it only took me like 7 hours originally. And that wasn't with all bosses, and I did all the main bosses. And speaking of DLC, you're probably wondering, why didn't I do the DLC? And that's because I don't like the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, and the Demon Prince is like super resistant to fire, and I'm not spending time on that for now. Maybe, if this video does really well, like 200 views and like 50 likes or some shit, then I'll do it. And I will hold myself to that. I'll at least do the Demon Princes in the Ring City, but we'll see. We'll see how that happens. I'm really hoping this does well, because I'm really proud of it. But thank you to everyone who watches to this far, and obviously, I'm rambling. I have no script for this, so it's just me talking shit. But thank you so much for everyone watching, and I hope you look forward to the next one.